Coach, what is it about this Army offense that gives them the ability to move the ball down the field and have the time of possession they do?
Yeah, they're extremely well coached. A bunch of really good players out there as well, and they're efficient and execute at a high level. They're a team that I think you watch them play. They know who they are. They know what they want to do. They don't make mistakes, and they're able to continue to move the chains. And like you said, keep the clock moving and move the ball down the field.
Is there anything that's unique about their way of approaching the option as opposed to maybe what you saw earlier in the season against Air Force?
Yeah, I think it's there's some similarities, but I think that they've put their own flavor on it. Obviously, I think that they pride themselves on being a really tough physical bunch, and you see that in their play, the way that the offensive line, the skill players, everyone blocks, but then when it's their opportunity to get the football, they have some playmakers as well. I think they do a really, really, really good job, Scott.
How has your team defensively responded since Memphis once you've really focused and gone through these days of the hard practices?
Yeah, we've had some really challenging practices, throwing a lot at these guys, um, just to make sure that obviously we're prepared, and then continue to work on fine tuning everything that we've got in, and obviously put in several new things as well. And I think they've really responded at a high level, which you would expect in this game. They're dialed in. They know what's at stake, and how well we have to perform to be able to come out where we need to come out.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Scott.
Go to Tim Nolan.
PJ, yesterday, Drew Cronick was telling us how he wants to enjoy this Army-Navy game more than the first he coached in last year. He feels like with the pressure of the moment and just you get so wrapped up in wanting to be at your best that you forget to really appreciate what you're getting to coach in. As you approach your seventh Army-Navy game, what's something that you're trying to appreciate maybe a little more than previous Army-Navy games?
If Drew finds out the way to get that done, I'm going to be knocking down his door and try to figure that. I mean, this is obviously, Tim. You always just appreciate the opportunity to play in this game that means so much to so many people. And that's really why. Like, you want to put your guys in position that they can be successful and have an opportunity to come out on top and sing second, and that's really where it all goes for me, Tim. It has zero to do with me, and it's all about just setting the guys up so they can have success because they deserve it. But I certainly am appreciative of being in this situation and in this moment.
How gratifying has this year been as a defensive coordinator, knowing what you guys dealt with earlier this season, the secondary, and just seeing the growth of a lot of young guys back there?
Yeah, I think we've gotten better and better. As a college football coach, I think I've told you this before. We're never truly pleased or satisfied or anything like that. We're always trying to get better and improve. But that's what we've seen from this group, and not just the defensive backs, but the defensive line, the linebackers, ATK, everybody. You see them just getting better and better, and that's why they call you coach. If we could just be the best versions of ourselves, or the best player right from the get-go, they wouldn't need us. So that's it. And I've just secondary in general, I talked to really Coach Green quite a bit after the Memphis game, and he's just always running to coaching. He talks about watering the bamboo is sort of a deal we talk about, that he sort of brought to the defensive staff room and to the full staff in general, is just watering the bamboo, taking care of those young guys and seeing them grow as the season moves along and as their career moves along. And he's the best in the business at that.
Was there any singular moment in the first Army Navy game you coached in that just signaled to you that this is different?
Ooh, boy. Well, I mean, I think there's everything about the game. My first particular one, we went to the stadium early the day before we got there, and it was my first year on staff here. We're getting ready to obviously we had a little bit of a losing streak that we needed to break in 19 against those guys. And we get to the stadium, we're walking around, we do that whole deal that we do, and Coach Niamat yells at me to come over there and talk to the whole team. And I was like, oh boy, he's got me talking to the whole team. I just got here, it's my first year, all that type of stuff. So that was a pretty surreal moment. Tyler Pastorio had a pick at the end of that game that I'll never forget. I thought that was a huge moment in his life, the battles that he had while he was here, and then to get an opportunity to get in at the end of that game. And he played will linebacker, and he undercut a 7-round, picked it off. He may or may not have kept that football and gave it to his dad for a Christmas gift. I don't know, but pretty big day there in 2019.
Thank you.
Wyatt Kopelman.
Hi, Coach. Army's offense hasn't exactly put up the kind of points you've seen recently from Memphis or South Florida, but it seems like there are still challenges in preparing for this opponent. What do you see as the biggest challenge this week for your unit?
Yeah, they're really efficient. They're extremely efficient. They're extremely physical. They're well coached. They've got good players. I think it's a little misleading sometimes. When you just look at total points in a game. Why? Because there's going to be less possessions because of the style of play. You play South Florida. We played 8 or 9 possessions in the first half. In these type of games, sometimes that's about it for the game. If that makes sense. So it's a little different in terms of that piece of it. But I see them go up and down the field on people, control the clock, control the line of scrimmage, and then punch it in the red zone and in the goal line areas. They're really efficient at short yardage, really, really good in the red zone and especially inside the 5. So I've been really impressed with them watching them on tape.
Last week, you talked about the pass rush against Memphis and how it could have produced even more sacks on Thanksgiving. This week, what's the biggest focus for you? What's the bigger focus for your unit, keeping that confidence high or making sure the results remain consistent?
Yeah, this is not a game where you're going to get a ton of opportunities for sacks and things like that. So if we're fortunate enough to get into that situation, you got to take advantage of it when you get into that. And it doesn't happen a ton in these football games. So when they do, if the opportunity presents itself, you got to be able to maximize that opportunity.
And how integral has the scout team been in not only helping improve the pass rush over the last 2 weeks, as well as the bye week, but also the run defense, as it looks like you'll need it a lot against the quarterback for Army this week?
Yeah, these guys, Coach Newberry and I and the staff, we were just talking about it probably less than 48 hours ago. Like, we're spoiled with the scout team that we have. Our coaching staff that runs those guys take great pride in coaching those guys up. Like, if I get frustrated about the look, I can tell I'm pissing off several coaches. Excuse my language, but I can tell I'm upsetting them because they're pouring their guts into making sure those guys are getting the job done at a high level. And I got cards all over my office right here. Guys put a ton of time and work and effort into making sure the scout team knows exactly where they're going, splits, alignments, tempo, all different types of things. So there's a lot that goes into it, and those guys work their butts off. So very, very appreciative of them giving a phenomenal look, and they've been great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Wyatt.
Matt White.
Hey, Coach. Thanks a lot for taking the time today. Um, I write for Task and Purpose, where you have a kind of a general military audience. So if you don't mind, I'm going to take you a little bit outside of the. I know you're focused on this week, but talk about something a little bit bigger. You guys are kind of on the island, and you have been for the last 7 years as college football has changed over to the NIL and revenue sharing and all that. And I know you're probably peers out there, and if you were at a different place, you'd be recruiting using that tool to get guys. And now you're kind of recruiting against it. I'm kind of wondering how that process has changed when you go meet a player, meet his family, meet his people. How you used to talk to him, and now you talk to him in the age of NIL, and how that comes up. And I don't mean to say it's the deciding factor because I know it's not, but how does it come up in your conversations?
Matt, appreciate the question. I'll be totally honest with you. Our message has not changed since I've been here. When I go to high schools and into homes and continue to educate people about the Naval Academy. And to be honest with you, if that's the first thing that comes up when we're chatting with people, is how much am I going to get paid, or what's in it for me, in terms of that aspect of it, it's probably not the right fit, if that makes sense. We go into homes, like I'm from the Midwest. I recruited the Midwest. And I'll be the first to tell you, like I didn't know much about the Naval Academy when I was in high school. I don't think my high school coaches did. So I go into to high schools, and my job is to educate the coaches, the players, the recruits, and their families about what the Naval Academy actually is, and how that can help continue to set them up for the rest of their life. So I spend a lot of my time doing that. And then teaching them why this opportunity is such a magnificent opportunity for people. And I think we choose very few, and even fewer choose it. It's a special deal. And over the course of this, like I don't even know like when the transfer portal opens or what NIL or revenue sharing looks like. So I do have some buddies that are in that realm, and I know a lot of them are pulling their heads out or pulling their hair out, and I tell them I don't even know when the transfer portal opens or anything like that, and they get upset with me because we're still a little bit old school in terms of that manner, which is sort of wild, Matt.
And just as a quick follow, have you found that it changes the list of guys you can go after? I mean, do guys fall off because you know that they're going to get an offer that maybe their family can't refuse?
I don't think that's a ton different than how it had been before. Maybe it's a little bit more financially lucrative to them. But I've said it here time and time again is, there's some people that, connect with this place and we beat out multiple FBS or Power Four schools like we've had that happen every year since I've been here. And there's times where, guys just don't truly believe in themselves, and they choose, I joke around, but not even playing football or Sunoco over coming here, because it's not for everybody. Like, this is a special opportunity. It's different. It's extremely rewarding, and it takes a certain level of maturity and belief in themselves, in what they want to accomplish and who they want to become to make this decision. And I'll tell you, since I've been here 7 years, I've never had anyone regret coming here and staying here. I've had a ton of people that regret not coming here or not staying here throughout the course of my career here. This is a special place, and it's not, it's not the water out here. It's not the boats. It's not downtown Annapolis. That's all nice, great, grand, and wonderful. But it's the people here. This is a special place. There's a ton of reason why people have been here for so long, is because this place is just littered with amazing people that invest into young people and want to see them reach their full potential in all facets of their lives.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Wags.
PJ, can you talk about their lead the nation in time of possession? Can you talk about the importance of getting off the field? You cannot have them go on one of their soul-crushing, time-consuming drives.
Yeah, I mean they're efficient. I mean they really are efficient. They work hard on every single snap to gain leverage and angles, to get knockback numbers, all those types of things, and it's critical when we do have an opportunity to get off the field, and maximize those opportunities to get the ball back to our offense. It's critical in every game, but it's even more critical in this one. Again, I think they're really well coached, and there's a lot of good players that play at a really high level.
So, what can you say about the quarterback? He's a tough kid. I mean, he's not quite Bryson Daly, but he's does a good job mimicking what Bryson Daly did, getting those tough yards between the tackles.
I think he's really good. I think he's really good. I think he's a guy that's obviously a heck of a leader. He is a great runner. Same in the pass game. Gets the ball to his playmakers on critical situations, and able to extend drives, get explosive plays, get the ball in the end zone, when the game matters most. I think he's a really good player that's really well coached, and has a lot of tools and a lot of ability. I'm really impressed with him watching him on tape.
I know they haven't had a lot of explosive plays, but the one player of theirs who is capable of delivering that is Noah Short. Can you talk about the challenge of making sure he doesn't break one on you?
Yeah, he's as good as anybody we've seen all year. I think he's a really dynamic playmaker. He can do things running the football. He can do things catching the football. He's done some things throwing the football as well. He's a guy you got to be aware of where 15 is at all times.
Thank you.
Wags, I'd add in Brady Anderson, the wide receiver, has also had quite a few big plays as well in the passing game.
Yeah.
Scott Wyckoff.
Yeah, Coach, how important is the resource that you have on your defensive staff of not only having a coach and Coach Green who played in this game, but also Baja, who grew up around this game and saw what it meant and how his father operated?
Yeah, I mean, Va'a is certainly wise beyond his years, that's for sure. And RB, I don't know if anybody knows, what it's like to be a midshipman, what it's like to be a Naval Academy football player, what it's like to be in the Marine Corps, just the whole thing, everything that this encompasses. I mean, RB is a phenomenal resource in terms of those things, and I can't tell you how many times I've walked down there and walked in his office and been like, all right, I need help with this or help with that. And Va'a, I can't say enough great things about him. It's crazy to me that he's a young coach, because he's like I said, he's really wise behind his beyond his years. And shoot, those guys bring up situations and people and things that have happened in this game that I was either playing in college or coaching Division III football at the time, and they can recite it like it's the back of their hand, Scott. So it's a phenomenal resource to have those guys in their knowledge base in our room.
And how proud are you you mentioned recruiting the Midwest to be a Midwesterner, an Ohioan, and to have two players and two leaders that you've been so involved with, bringing them to the academy in their development, Landon and Blake from Ohio?
I'd take phenomenal amount of pride in those guys being from Ohio, and me being from there as well. Like that's one of our old D-line coaches always just said, he's like, I've never been to Ohio, but everybody from there is awfully proud of it. So it must be nice. So certainly very proud of those guys, and not just that they're from the state of Ohio, but really more importantly, who they are. Like I see that picture, I see Landon smiling there right above your right shoulder right there. And he's just an absolute joy to coach. And then Blake, I just can't say enough great things about Blake and the mental maturity that both those guys have, the leadership that they have, the growth. It's just it's been really cool to see those guys over the last few years and how they've grown.
Does having guys like that from an area that you're looking to open up more doors for, does that help when they get the recognition and the notoriety that they've gotten this year?
I certainly think so. I think, like I was mentioning before, I go into high schools and not always do people know exactly what this all entails, and it's constantly teaching them about it. But when we get an opportunity, obviously, to play in this game and on this stage, and they showcase the players the way that they do on the broadcast and lead it up into the game, all those things, this is the only game on, all eyes are on this. And it just brings the Naval Academy, it brings our recruiting, the brotherhood and our program into the spotlight, and deservedly so. These guys do a phenomenal job, but it certainly helps out that name recognition, not just for the front of the jersey, but from the back too.
Good deal. Good luck Saturday.
Thanks, Scott.
Tim Nolan.
PJ, going off that Ohio background, what was your initial thought when you found out you're going to be playing Cincinnati in the Liberty Bowl?
I really haven't even thought about it much, to be totally honest with you. I know that's like not the great thing to say or anything like that, but the sole focus around here is this one right now, Tim, to be honest with you. And then once we get to that point, then we'll start focusing on that. But everything, all arrows are pointed on December 13th.
We'll circle back. Talking about your secondary going into this game. Last year, Andrew Duhart, big game, kind of a coming out party for him with the 2 pass breakups. How excited are you to see how this next wave of young, talented corners and safeties are going to respond in their first start in an Army-Navy game?
Yeah, you're always excited for guys to get this opportunity more than anything else, is to get an opportunity. And it doesn't matter if it's a corner, safety, D lineman, linebacker, outside backer. It doesn't matter. Like the guys that, they've earned the right to go out there and represent the Brotherhood and the Naval Academy and the entire Navy out there in Marine Corps. So the stage doesn't get bigger. The setting doesn't get bigger. It's a ton of pride, a ton of gratification to see these guys earn the opportunity to go out there and have this challenge ahead of them.
Lastly, for me, Griffin's really taken on behind Landon. Landon in turn has taken him under his wing, and you see those guys working 15, 20 minutes after practice, just the two of them hitting sleds. How much confidence does that give you about the future of this program, just the way that Griffin tries to mimic Landon?
Yeah, I mean, Griff's been absolutely amazing since he's stepped on foot on campus, and he just continues to get better and better. And those guys push each other and lead each other, and it's exceptional. I love watching those guys work. When you get, being a former linebacker myself, when you got guys up front that play at a high level, it makes there's a certain sense of confidence that it helps you enter any type of play or situation. And I'll be honest, like Andrew Duhart, and I don't know if he said it to you guys, but he said it several times to me, is just about the culture of the team changing, over the course of his time here, and it used to be, guys, got done with workouts or guys got done with practice and they're scurrying off to go do this or that. And he's like, it's just totally changed now where we just got a ton of football guys and it's all about extra work, trying to find that edge, whatever it is for themselves individually to get better. They stay in the weight room after it's off. They stay on the practice field after we're done. They stay in the film room after we're done to try to get as much work as possible to help themselves and to give themselves that physical or mental edge on game day. And that's really rewarding as a coach to see that thing has really taken taken off and gone to a next level. And I think Griff and Landon have a huge part in that culture shift, if that makes sense, Tim.
Thank you.
Wyatt.
Thanks.
Coach, how do you think this defense has embraced the meaning of playing their 111th and picking each other up since the second half of that Memphis game, now going to a CIC game here?
Yeah, I mean, that's the only way that we can be successful, is us executing at a high level and just dominating our job one play at a time. And the guys know that. And like I've told you several times this year, like we've done it in instances and in flashes, and we're striving for consistency and perfection, and looking to catch excellence along the way. But I've been here a long time. Why, like this group works really hard. I told him the other day that this team practices harder than any team I've been a part of here, and there's some teams that have practiced really, really hard. And I'm just really impressed with them, and that's given us an opportunity to get better, is the way that we go about our work.
Speaking of leadership, how much of an advantage do you see having the Conference Defensive Player of the Year in Landon Robinson, even Pierce, and the secondary, as you said, that's really shown progress in the way it executes against a quarterback in Helms who's making his first start in an Army-Navy game this week?
Yeah, Landon's our leader. We'll all follow him wherever the heck he wants us to go or needs us to go. I take away a lot of confidence in the fact that some of those other guys have been out there, and we talk to the younger guys about what this is like and how it works. But at some point, everybody's got to make their first start in this deal, and you've earned the opportunity, and you got to do whatever you got to do to make sure that you're ready to seize the opportunity when it comes out on Saturday.
And in a bigger sense, with this being one of the most recognized rivalry games in sports, and as you said last week, the most physical game of the year for Navy, why do you think the Army-Navy game has stayed so intriguing for college fans who may not root for either academy on a routine basis?
I mean, this is America, man. Like this is the red, white, and blue. It doesn't matter which one of the 50 states you're in, or if you have affiliation or don't have affiliation. Like there's a sense of pride of being in the best country in the world, and this is a few hours on a Saturday afternoon playing the best sport that this best country has, that we all get to be proud to be Americans, and we work really hard to represent the Navy and the Marine Corps in the right manner, and put a deal out there that people really appreciate and love to watch. And I think that's ultimately what it comes down to is that, man. Like we're all wherever you come from, whatever you got going on, whatever your background is, whatever your beliefs are, and all different things, man. We're red, white, and blue, and it doesn't get any better than that.
Good luck this week.
Thanks, Wyatt.
Matt White.
Hey, Coach, one last thing. I'm not sure. Are you, as a coach, I know obviously you're familiar with wearing the patches for this game, but are you kind of dialed into why each player chooses the ones that they go with? Because I had a question on one in particular.
I may not know everyone's, and odds are the one you asked me, I probably have no idea about.
Okay,
but
this one was Landon. This is Landon wearing one. It's actually an Army unit, the 160th, and it's he's big guy, major guy on the team, and it's related to a crash and a family associated with the academy. I wonder if that rings a bell with you.
I don't know about it, but I'm gonna.
It's Bill Krause.
Yeah,
Bill Krause.
PJ, it's Bill Krause. Bill Krause's son.
All right. Yeah. So Bill is obviously a phenomenal human being, supporter of the Naval Academy, Navy football, owns and runs Mission Barbecue, and just became somebody here that I think everybody in our football program knows, loves, respects, and is obviously his son passed away in a crash this year, and it is really tough for a lot of people around here. I just can't even imagine that type of thing for Bill, and the type of man that he is. I think that's awesome to have Landon represent his son and his family in the biggest stage, and Bill deserves that, and his family deserves that and a heck of a lot more for that. So it's a unique thing that we do with the patches. I didn't quite understand it when I got here. I've had I'm looking at one right now. I've had guys that I know that were in the Marine Corps or in the Navy reach out to me about guys on the team wearing their patch or their brother's patch, or a family member's patch. Sion Harrington, who played in 2019, sent me a letter this year and talked about his Marine Corps unit and the things that they're doing right now, and sent 2 patches, one for me and one for a linebacker to wear. And I brought it into the linebacker meeting room, and Cole McCauley raised his hand immediately after I read the letter and was like, "I'll wear that patch." So this is it's a way to respect and honor a lot of people that deserve a heck of a lot more than we can give them.
You said that was Macaulay?
Yeah, Coleman
Colley,
number
Coleman
58.
Colley.
He'll
Okay.
wear Sion Harrington's Raiders patch.
Yeah. Oh, I've written about the Raiders before. That's a really interesting one. That's great. Yeah, they're refueling outfit. Well, I appreciate that, Coach. Last thing then, since I'm writing about Landon, can you give me just one, man, that kid sure is strong story?
Oh man. Let's see. Well, I saw him, was in there working out, doing my old man workout, and he had stayed afterwards from when the lift was over, and he was probably, I don't know, maybe 30, 45 minutes post lift, and look over, and he's on the ground working like a press, basically from a ground, holding multiple 100-pound plates and moving them with ease. I'm pretty sure I probably would have cracked my back, or one of them would have went through my throat or something along those lines. But he's 2 hours into a workout or whatever he is, hour and a half into a workout, and throwing it around at a really high level. And I was like, man, glad he's on my side.
He had 100-pound plates, like pressing. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure I understand.
Yeah.
That's great. Thanks.
Appreciate it, man.
2 notes. I do know Bill Krause will be there on Saturday, and actually Mission Barbecue is catering Navy's post-game meal. And another good one on Landon is his freshman year, he missed his flight home for Christmas to get in an extra lift. Wags.
At all.
Well, on Landon, I mean, he was a game wrecker against Army last year, and he really set the tone with getting into the backfield, and they couldn't move him, and he was probably the point of the spear in terms of stopping that outstanding run game of Army. How critical is it for Landon to be a force again in this year?
Yeah, we'll need him to dominate his 111th, and we need the guys around him to do the same. It's really hard to it's really hard to free up a nose guard. So he's got to come in there and play at a high level, and so do the people around him to be able to create opportunities for us to make tackles and get off the field. And we need him playing at a high level, and he's been practicing at a high level, and we need the guys around him to too as well, Wags. He can't do it alone, and we can't do it without him, if that makes sense.